Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lizzie and I am so happy to have you, and today I am bringing you guys a brand new speed build. So I have quite a few things to say about this build before I get into just ranting about life. The first thing I have to say is that this speed build sits at an hour currently while I have started this voiceover, and that is with it being sped up and parts of it already cut out. So hopefully I can get it down to at least close to 45 minutes. But I guess we're just gonna have to see what happens. So the first big thing that I kind of want to talk about is what this house is built for. So this, as I'm sure you guys already can kind of tell by the title of the video, is for my Not to Bury Gen 2. So no, this house is not for Phoenix herself, but for her family, who has officially moved away from the Oasis Springs area and have moved to Del Sol Valley. So for those of you who have not yet seen my final episode of the Not So Very Mint Gen, spoilers coming ahead, but that came out, I believe, if everything goes to my plan, that should have come out on Wednesday, and this will be going up on Sunday. But someone has passed. There's been an accident within the Berry household. I will say that somebody has in fact passed away. And so the remainder of the family has decided to move to Del Sol to kind of get away. So before I get into all of that, let's talk about the build. So you guys are going to see in a second, well, you guys just saw there the cut. That was a cut of me taking out the floor plan because you guys can very clearly see it, and there was no need for me just to waste time on you guys watching me build it, but this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. So I did just end up cutting, and that is because I flipped the sides of the build. So if you guys were watching, this was the back of the build, and the back was, so this was the back and the back was the front. So now it's been swapped. So and I did this because I honestly just think that this looks so much better. The front was honestly kind of boring the way I had it before, and this really just matched the vision that I had for this build a lot better, just like so much better. So I'm really happy that I ended up flipping it around. So that used to be the front, which I'm sure you guys can kind of tell. But I just think that this did so much for the build itself. And this one, honestly, just the vibes I was going for was really realistic, really homey. You guys may notice I have a new terrain mod, K-Hippie. I sat on this mod for so long, and I will tell you guys right now, do not make the same mistake as me. I saw it in other people's games, and I was like, oh, that terrain looks so good. And I waited so long to put it into my game, and I have no idea why. It is literally a game changer. It makes the game look so much more realistic. It's beautiful. Like, the game is still Maxis, but it kind of blends in the, like, alpha, some of that, like, alpha stuff that I have downloaded CC-wise. So it kind of just meshes both Maxis and alpha together. And then I also downloaded, oh my goodness, I am blanking on the name of the person who made it, but it's literally on the tip of my tongue. I'll link it down below in the description box. I downloaded a like default base game override, which kind of like changed the world. I'm sure some of you guys have seen it by now, but I will still link it down below since I cannot remember the name of the creator. 10 out of 10 would recommend. That is why my road looks different than normal vanilla game. So anyways, this build is for my Not So Berry family at the beginning of Gen 2 before we move Phoenix out and away from her family. So Phoenix is still a teenager, and when I pick up in Season 2 or Generation 2 of Phoenix's storyline, Rosalie will also be a teenager, which is just so exciting. I have already aged her up and given her a little makeover, and she is honestly just precious. Like, I'm obsessed with her. She didn't really look a lot like the family kind of when I aged her up, so I did change her features just a twinge because I wanted her to kind of resemble her family in like small ways. So I did do that, but she is literally just such a cutie. So as you guys can see, I am now doing the landscaping. The landscaping honestly didn't take me that long. I was really struggling. That brick sort of live edit debug item that I placed down right behind the bushes, I was struggling on where to place those, so you guys will see me add in more of them later. Well, you guys will either see me add in more of them later, or you guys will just see them randomly appear. But yeah, I love those debug items. I don't know why. I've never used them before. They're just so cute, and they just added touch of realism to the game, I feel like. But yeah, I really love the way that this house came out. I think it has just the right amount of realism, and it's just so good. I spent so much time on this build. I literally, like, it took a few days because I had just come back from vacation and I was like dying to get into game. And as I've already talked about, I have started my internship. I started that last week. And so I really haven't had all of that much time. I've been working about 7 to 5 every day. So very long hours. If you guys don't know anything about the horse world, very typical. Honestly, that's a pretty good schedule, because there are people with way worse schedules than me. But yeah, so it just has left me with very little time. But as soon as I got back from vacation, I knew I wanted to start kind of setting up Generation 2. And so this build took me a few days to do, which is very rare for me. Typically, I am like in and out of a build in a day. Like, I do not take over a day. If I take over a day, I end up not coming back to the build. There is a build that I love that I have yet to finish that is sitting in my save file in the new world that we have, and I love that house, and it's half furnished because I didn't finish it in a day. So this one was obviously one that I kind of had to come back to because it is for my Let's Play, but still, this was one that I was really devoted to. I really wanted to take my time with it, especially with the interior, because while I have grown very comfortable with my exteriors and my build style with my exteriors, interiors are something that I still feel like I really struggle with. I feel like I just don't have the attention span for the, like, attention to detail that some people do when it comes to interiors. And so, kind of getting to really take my time with the interior of this build was really nice. Phoenix's room is still not really kind of where I wanted it to be. It's not as, I don't know, it's just not my best work, so that may change by the time the first episode of Gen 2 comes out, but I don't know, we'll see if I actually have the time for it. The backyard was also not something I'm super proud of, but it's enough that, like, I didn't have to worry about it all that much. I just, by the time I got to the backyard, I was, like, kind of over it, and I really didn't have any ideas or inspiration for it, and I didn't want to go too crazy, because obviously the family, they're well off, but they don't have tons of money, so yeah, I just kind of wanted to keep it a bit simpler. But I think here, maybe, oh no, never mind, I was gonna say, I think here you're gonna see me add more of those brick walls, but you don't. Here I am just decorating the outdoors. That basketball hoop is honestly one of the cutest things I've ever seen. So realistic, and it's just such a cute touch. Like, you can just add it to the top of garages, and it's just so cute. But anyways, now that I have finished kind of rambling on about the beginning of this build, I'm sure I'll come back and ramble about it later because I have a long ways to go. We're only 10 minutes in. But Not So Berry Gen 2. Wow. If you guys have not seen, like I said previously, the last episode of Not So Berry Mint Gen, spoilers ahead. So I ended that episode off with Kara having finished all of her achievements. She has finished them all. Some of the things did not get shown on camera, like her mixing some of the potions, or serums, but I just did not have the care to record it. I was just trying to get it all done and completed. But everything has been finished. And I ended that episode off with Phoenix traveling to 6am with Kara to go and find her other alien parent. And that was another thing that I kind of really struggled with. I didn't want it to be like a super short thing, but I also didn't know how to make it like meaningful and like really impactful if I didn't like make like a short little like cutscene for it. So because I just knew that if I did it like real time gameplay, recording it, like talking it all through, it just probably wouldn't hit the same for me personally. So I did end up making like a small little cutscene of Kara's alien mother walking down to find her and Kara, and then Phoenix like going up and hugging her birth mom, or her other genetic mom, not really her birth mom. And kind of the storyline that I was honestly thinking about it was maybe like Phoenix's alien mother, when Kara got abducted, maybe Phoenix's alien mother like placed Phoenix inside of Kara. And so, kind of like as a surrogate almost, like maybe there was some reason why she couldn't have Phoenix, like maybe there were some weird alien rules, or maybe there was like some dangerous situation going on or something. And so she just like plopped Phoenix into Kara, and that's kind of what happened. But I also wanted like Phoenix to have Kara's DNA. Like I didn't want it to be where like Phoenix wasn't genetically Kara's either. So I don't really know kind of where I stand on that. I don't even know if Phoenix's alien mother is really going to come into play in the storyline again. She definitely might, but I'm just kind of like uncertain about that aspect of things. And I'm realizing that we have been on the exterior of this house for like 12 minutes now, and this is why this video is so drastically long. But anyways, so that's kind of how I ended it. And then there was this really dramatic like a cutscene at the very end, where like the screen turns black and you hear this loud crash, and then it like flashes to the crash site, and then it just ended with that, and I didn't say anything about it. So one of Kara's parents have died. Trace was also in the scientist career, so both him and Kara were like equally involved kind of like with the aliens. If you remember Kara and Trace's backstory, he was like anti-alien, and she was like very like, oh my god, aliens exist, and he was like, no, you're crazy. And then she was like, okay, I'm literally having an alien child, and he was the only one who believed her after like not believing in aliens at all. And so then he ended up working at a different lab than, well, he stayed at the original lab, and Kara moved to a different lab. And during that time, I never really talked about it, but he was also doing some research on aliens, because obviously he was then like Phoenix's dad, and at the same time he was married to Kara, and it was something that was very important to Kara, so they both kind of did research on it. I don't really know why I'm telling you guys this, but I just thought that that would be helpful for you guys to know, just a little backstory. So the remainder of the family of whichever parent has not yet passed, which you will find out in the next episode, have moved the family here to Del Sol because they are just so grieved by the whole thing, and they just couldn't stay, and so they just left. And they've moved the family to Del Sol, and Rosalie and Phoenix are still going to the same high school. I think I already said that Rosalie will be a teen in the first episode. And I just have lots of plans, honestly, for Phoenix's generation. I have the whole thing planned out already. Like, I have been sitting on this for so long. I have talked it through with a good friend of mine within the Sims community. Like, I was literally like, okay, here's my plan. You have to read the whole thing and let me know what you think. And, so yeah, she knows how long I've been sitting on this. It's been, like, a very long time. And I am just so excited. I literally am so excited to, like, really get to delve deep into Phoenix's story, because I really didn't get to play with her as much as I wanted to in the last few episodes. So I'm really excited for that to kind of finally start, and for us to finally really get into that. So it's gonna be some good stuff, you guys. Get ready for the drama. Like, I really wanted to make this generation of the challenge, like, very drama filled, but also kind of like, you guys, I just wanted to make everyone really invested, because I'm invested and I want everyone else to be invested too. Another thing that I have mentioned multiple times, and I'm gonna mention it again, if any of you guys are curious to see some kind of, like, behind the scenes photos, or maybe if I talk about, like, something that happened in the story but I didn't actually show it on camera, chances are there are screenshots of it on Tumblr. And I don't know if any of you are really into screenshots. I am. I literally could sit and scroll through Tumblr and look at screenshots all day long of people's games and storylines and builds and yada yada. Like, I could literally do it all day. So yeah, if there is any part of the story that I have, like, talked about but hasn't been seen or isn't getting shown, I can pretty much guarantee it is on my Tumblr. There's already stuff getting posted for Gen 2 as I sit here in my chair on June 6th. Like, we are hitting it off strong. You guys are definitely going to get to see some screenshots of Phoenix kind of going through the grief process of losing someone within her family. And we'll get to kind of catch up with Rosalie and kind of see a bit of her personality a bit better now that she has become a teen. And yeah, we're also going to kind of see some of Victor in our upcoming episode, which I am super excited about because we haven't seen that man in a long time. And we're just really gonna see kind of like the whole, you know, Rose Gen 2 side of Phoenix. Like, we're really gonna start getting into like the player, the non-committal, like, flirt. Like, that's really what we're gonna start diving deep into in the next few episodes, now that she has kind of like, her life has been overturned, she's lost someone who she loves dearly, she's like going through all of this grief and denial, and she's been moved away from the only town she's ever known, and obviously she still has her friends because she's still making the commute to her same high school, but like, obviously that is not the same at all. You're still not living in that town, and it can kind of be a bit of culture shock. So we're really gonna see Phoenix kind of struggling with her relationships now that all of this has happened in her life. And I don't know, you guys, I'm literally so excited if you can't tell. Like, I'm excited to play it, I'm excited to share it. But yeah, so I think I mentioned that I have started my job. I am like a week and a half in, and I'm working 7 to 5 not every day, 5 days a week. My first week, it was 7 to 5 the first day, and then it was 8 to 5, and now we're running summer camps, so I have to be up at 6 to get there at 7. And I am not a morning person. I hate mornings. Like, I am dead quiet in the mornings. I don't want to be talked to. I don't want to be bothered. I am, like, miserable the first, like, 30 minutes to an hour that I'm awake. I literally, like, every morning I'm like, I'm just not even gonna go to work. And I'm like, crap, I have to. But, so I'm, like, partially running summer camps, and then I'm also partially working for the actual boss of the place. and she's been letting me kind of work some horses who haven't really been getting worked as much due to injuries and time off and all of that. And today I rode only 3 horses, but it's honestly been like so much fun this week, like getting, because summer camp is not really something that I love to do. It really drains me. I'm very much an introvert. Like, I love being around people who I know and who I'm really close with, but like kids and certain people just are very draining. So it's a lot for me, summer camps, but like then getting to end my day off with like riding some horses, it's like the best because that's what I want to do. And so today, like on the drive home, I was literally like just serotonin boost, and you guys can probably tell I'm talking so fast, and but yeah, like I just have like this major like serotonin high that I'm kind of on right now, and I'm literally going to crash. I know it. But actually yesterday I was exercising a horse that hasn't been ridden in a year, and for most of you are probably non-horse people, I'm only assuming, but for those of you who aren't horse people, a horse who has not been ridden for a year is very different than a horse that has been ridden for a year straight. And so I was the first person on this horse who's been off for a year due to like a really severe injury, and my boss basically just wanted to see if this horse was going to be fit enough to do its job. And I kid you not, I am making this horse walk around, and then we start to trot, which is like the next fastest thing from a walk, and this horse quite literally fakes me out. He was like very energetic, like he literally felt like a bottle rocket that could not explode but wanted to explode so bad. He was just like waiting for a chance to be able to like let loose and do something crazy, and he caught me, and he like literally faked me out. He acted like he was gonna spin left, and then all of a sudden at the last second he spun right. I flew into the air, spinned, landed on my left hip, and thankfully it was fine. Like, it was not even close to my worst fall, but it was like, oh my gosh, you stupid pony. Like, I have not fallen off in a year and a half, and I was like, of course you're gonna be the one that gets me off, the one that hasn't been ridden in a year. And yeah, so that was super fun. I literally got up because he started walking away from me after he got off, and the second I stood up and started walking, I could literally just feel it all in my back. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a chiropractor appointment that I am going to be in desperate need of, to say the least. So, haven't gone to the chiropractor yet, haven't had time. Hopefully this weekend, we'll see. And then this morning I woke up and I was expecting to be in a lot of pain in my back or on my left hip where I literally landed on. And instead, all of the pain is in my right hip, the opposite hip that I landed on, so not the one I landed on, obviously. And then like literally lifting my leg even just like the smallest bit, or even like switching from my gas pedal to my brake pedal, literally just like makes my hip ache. So not sure what's going on there. Not the hip that I was expecting to have any pain in at all. But yeah, that's the hip that I ended up with pain in. And as you guys can probably tell from this video, I used a lot of clutter, and I spent a lot of time on it, searching through items. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, wow, no wonder this build took you 4 hours and like 3 different days to do. Because I don't think I have ever spent this long on anything in my entire life, and I am quite literally going to have to speed this up even more, because I want you guys to be able to see all of it, but it's just taking such a long time. Okay, so here we have moved on to the living room, and the living room was a space that I was really worried about when I first started working on it, because I honestly hate a rectangular shaped living room, and I also find living rooms to just be so hard for me to do. Like, if I put in a fireplace, like I never know what to put next to that fireplace. So I don't know. I was really worried about this one, but I think I did a good job of like filling up the space. I've been trying not to be so repetitive with like bookshelves and things because in the past, like my kind of go-to for like empty spots was just like plopping in a bookshelf and hoping that that would be good enough. But then all of my spaces looked just like so repetitive and I honestly hated it. So I think I did a decent job of kind of filling up the space without putting in like the same bookshelf a million times. In a second, you're gonna see this spot over here turn into, there it is, a kind of like musical corner-ish. So this is actually going to be Rosalie's new hobby. She's gonna kind of be the musician in the family. She loves music. It's kind of her way of coping with the recent losses in the family, and so she's gonna like sit in the living room and play the piano, and it's gonna be great and amazing. And I am honestly just like so excited to kind of get to play with Rosalie a bit. I've honestly kind of debated like maybe her and Phoenix can like live together once Rosalie ages up into a young adult and Phoenix has like moved away and started her life. Like maybe Rosalie will come to live with her for a little bit. I don't know. We'll kind of have to see. But I would love to kind of play with Rosalie's storyline a little bit. But yeah, she's gonna be a little bit of a musician. The next big thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is my star sign challenge that is coming back. I am working on the wedding episode and I want it to be perfect. I haven't actually touched that household since being back from my vacation. So in about 3 weeks, I don't think I've actually played with them or touched them, but I promise you guys they are coming back. I want that episode to be really good and I don't know sort of how I want to get there. I am not very good at the cinematic stuff, and so I've been trying to get better. We're getting there, it's just not great, but yeah, so I kind of wanted to do their wedding episode in like a cinematic sort of way, and I don't know if I just want it to be the wedding itself and make it like a really short, maybe like 5-minute episode, and then the next episode can just be them on their honeymoon, or how I want to do that really. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still deciding. I think it's gonna be a shorter episode by far because I want the honeymoon to be all one episode. So I'm not totally sure how that's gonna work, but I literally love that family, so they are most definitely coming back. Yeah, they are probably the first household that has had like such a strong grip on me, and I don't know what it is about them, but maybe it's because like they're the first household I've actually spent time taking screenshots of, and so I quite literally have just fallen in love with them, not only like in game but just like through those screenshots too. And obviously now on my Tumblr I've been posting a lot of Not So Berry because I thought that was kind of like a cool way to continue like telling Phoenix's story, especially in between the time of the like last episode of Gen 1 between the first episode of Gen 2. So I thought that was just kind of like a fun way to keep telling the story and you guys getting to kind of see what's happening off screen. But like I really got into the whole screenshot thing with my star sign family, and yeah, I don't know, I feel like it just really built like a connection that I was missing between my households. So that was really fun. Something that I've kind of been wanting to do completely off camera is just have my own sort of current household, like a household for me, myself, and I, but I've realized the past 2 weeks that I just absolutely have zero time to do that as much as I wish I did. And knowing me, I am not the kind of person who can just like sit down, have a current household, and like not go all out for it and like make a complete storyline and post all the screenies, so like it would be still somewhat time consuming. And also I think I've realized that kind of making the videos on YouTube and like making it into a let's play has almost like just kept me really motivated in a sense. I can't remember the last time I went this long playing the game without like months of a break. Like I genuinely cannot remember a time when that happened. Like normally I will play the game like so much for like a few months, and then I like stop playing, and then normally I start playing again when like new DLC comes out, and then I play for a few months and then I stop again for a long time. So I definitely think this has kind of been keeping my like inspiration going, and on top of that I think not playing every day has also just really kept me inspired and from being burnt out, because I really only play when I'm going to record, and unless I'm taking like screenshots or something, but even then I'm not really doing a whole lot of gameplay. It's mostly just kind of like setting the scenes and stuff, and so I think it's honestly just kept me really motivated. Oh, and speaking of the build, or not speaking of the build, but I'm going to start speaking of it, this room is probably one of my all-time favorites. And if you guys are wondering how I got the photos from my original save into my new save, it is through the gallery. So I just put all of my photos into one room, and then I moved them all over into this save by just placing the room down, which is why I have that really weird room in the back, and it doesn't stay there, it leaves once I get all the photos down. But yeah, so I really wanted to keep those photos, especially with there being a tragic incident happening to someone, so I really wanted to kind of keep the photos. But yeah, this room, I don't know what it is about it, but I just genuinely like love it. It is genuinely one of my favorites, and I don't know why. It just is. It's just so like, I don't know what it is. I genuinely love it. It's like very cohesive and clean, but also like cluttered and green and realistic. I love the windows and the blinds and the plants and the colors and everything. I don't know. I definitely think this is one of my favorite houses to date. The more I look at it, the more I just genuinely fall in love with it even more. Now I'm moving on to Rosalie's room, and Rosalie's room, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but personally I like her room more than I like Phoenix's, and I think I did already mention that, and I'm probably going to end up changing Phoenix's room around a little bit. I don't know, it might not change around. The back wall of Phoenix's room is like completely blank. You'll see what I'm talking about, because I'm going to end up splitting Phoenix's room in half, and half of it's going to be her room, and then half of it's going to be like the garage / laundry room, and the wall in between the laundry room and her room is like completely blank, and I hate that, but I don't know what to put on it. But yeah, for this room, for Rosalie, I kind of wanted it to be really like all over the place with the wall decorations. Like, I don't know, they all kind of match a certain vibe once it's all up there. It looks very cohesive, but I just kind of wanted it to be like artsy and creative in a way, and she just have like a lot of stuff on her walls because she is so creative. So yeah, I wanted that to kind of come into play. And then I also added a little bit of space theme stuff into her room, because of her parents obviously being in the scientist career and her kind of growing up around that. I mean, she literally had a rocket ship in her backyard when she was little, so yeah. So I figured space would be kind of just a cool way to kind of incorporate her childhood a little bit. But yeah, all of these little like decals, I forget who they're by, when I make the CC list, you guys will know. I kind of forgot that I have to do that, but I do have to do that. But yeah, the little decals I literally love. I think they are so fun. There is about 10 minutes left in the video, so I think with this I'm gonna just go ahead and cut off here. I don't really have that much more to rant about, so I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you guys very soon. If you did enjoy this video, do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.